Hello YouTubers, Tross here, and I'm playing a bit more Kerbal Space Program. I'm playing around with some of the new parts that came with 0.25, and I'm here in the hangar, spaceplane hangar, because I've been playing with some aircraft, not really space planes. This is all vanilla, so I like playing with the planes. I just don't do much in the actual gathering of science with them, but I do like attempting to make planes that go really fast, and this is one such attempt. Now, to go really fast, you have to go really high too, so there's lots of air intakes. You can see I got 3 of these new ones on the side, and a new one in the nose, and then actually, I'm gonna replace these with these. This takes in 0.2 of air, but these take in 0.4. So if I snap these on, that will do even better. So this was meant to be sort of a space plane, but I've never successfully got it to space. There is some oxidizer and a little bit of just liquid fuel, and also these at the end also contain liquid fuel. There are fuel lines running from the center out to the edge, so you're guaranteed, even if you've run the rockets and ran out of all fuel, that the default basic jet engines, which we are using for initial liftoff, will still have 40 units of fuel each, which will get you quite a fair distance. The one problem with this design, but you can see that the center of lift is really close to the center of mass, and while that's good initially, as we start running out of fuel, it causes a problem. So the liquid fuel here is made not flowable to prevent the center of mass from going backwards, so it actually moves forward initially. But at some point when you're getting really low on fuel, if you perform too sharp maneuvers, the aircraft starts liking to fly sideways and spinning, and I haven't been able to get out of that failure mode. But let's take this out and see how it does. Test its performance. Okay, here we are. I'm going to turn on SAS. We got Ermin and Luki, and we got 43 parts for a mass of just over 14.5 tons. So SAS is on. I have the 3 different engines on 1, 2, and 3, although we'll probably won't be using 3. And even at half thrust, we should be able to take off easily with this. And that's why we need to be careful. Let's revert. Yes, be careful what I hit. I don't need to hit space, I need to hit 1. SAS on, click 1, and just don't rotate too much. Let's get the readings up. Come on, you want to lift off. There we go. Gear up. You see, it takes off quite nicely. Even at half throttle, you can now put the throttle all the way up. And we're aiming for about 15 kilometers up as our butter zone for speed and above. I've actually flown this as high as 30, but the engine's cut out at that point. Once we get above 5,000, I'll kick in the turbojets, and that will give us some additional thrust. And then above 15 or so is when you turn off these, because they basically, well, will turn themselves off at that point. But you can see we can climb real nice, even on just the basic jet engines. And let's turn on those turbojets. Picking up speed as they provide additional thrust. So our intake air is dropping, but we should be good for a bit. I'm going to begin to level off here. I want to still keep climbing, but only a 10-degree rate or so. Alright, and now I'm going to turn off the initial jet engines because they quickly lose thrust. You can see we're over half a kilometer per second, and if I do this right, we should wind up eventually being over a kilometer and a half per second. So we want to keep going up, but not too quickly. And at this point, we are good until our intake air is about 0.1. We want to keep going up slowly, because as the air gets thinner, there's less and less drag. But we don't want to be going up too quickly, because that will lose our horizontal speed. And right now, you can see we're almost a kilometer per second, and we're getting some re-entry effects even. And we want to keep going up, maybe at 20 meters per second or so. Really, 25 kilometers is where this craft really shines, speed-wise. Now, it's probably not the fastest craft ever, but it's one of the faster ones that I've ever made. We are over a kilometer per second here. Continuing to increase our speeds, and you can see we're full of fuel here, and already at 1100 meters per second. Gonna break 12 shortly. Definitely when we're down to half fuel, it's much easier to get going faster, and we've still got plenty of air. There we go, we're over 1200 meters per second. You see we've already almost crossed the ocean halfway. Over 1,300 meters per second. Actually, we're going up a little too quickly. There's 2,500. Now we have to watch our intake air. as it drops, yeah, I throttled down a little, but that's not going to affect us too much. 1.5 kilometers per second. I don't want to go too much higher than this because, yeah, for some reason this tends to the right, that the right engine loses thrust quicker than the left. And we can keep thrusting even down to like 0.4, but you have to be pretty low. You see we are approaching 1.6 kilometers per second. Don't want to be nosed up anymore. Just about 30, now we're heading down. You can see we basically crossed the ocean already. The only problem is you really don't have any steering control here. Now, I've never gotten this to space. You can light the engines, but we're not carrying enough oxidizer to, even though we're like 3/4 of the way to orbital speed, it's just getting all the way there is pretty difficult. What's our IVA look like? Yeah, you can see little flames. Now we slow down a bit, and we've got more intake air, so we can throttle back all the way up. And you basically just stay in this range between 20 and 29 or 30 kilometers up. As we increase our throttle here, we'll start getting more lift again, or at least because of our angle, our trajectory will start going back up. See, our sink rate is reducing and will soon be a climb again. There we go. So I don't know how far this thing can go. This is, by the way, not my not my first contract save. This is just a creative or sandbox game, I should say. We're not going to be able to affect our trajectory up here too much. I was thinking of trying to turn around and head back and land. I do have some nice video of this in testing. I made a nice landing with it. I may play that footage. I was hoping to maybe turn around here and land, but as you can see, we don't really have much control over our trajectory, although we have slowed down quite a bit. Don't want to turn too far away, but we are at this point stable. It's only when you get down to less than a... Ooh, there. Lost stability. We should be able to recover here. Or we will like flying backwards. Yeah, this is the flying sideways mode. I'm not sure how to get out of. Can apply as much thrust as I can. Can nose up, turn into the spin. Alright, at this point, we need to get flying forward again real quick. And what I'm doing seems to be affecting, you know how, well, it looked like we started to come out of it maybe going more into a spiral instead of a just flipping on edge. If you know why that occurs or what can be done to combat that, I'd be really interested in knowing, because I'm not sure why that happens at all. Let's go back. I have another aircraft that I also played with. Using the new payload bays, I've made what I'm calling the Kerbal Bomber, and this actually has 4 separate loads of munitions, and each drops 4 tanks, and they are all set to not use fuel from, so they will be full. Now I do have this all on a action key to open, and then we actually drop 2 groups at once. I think it's the back ones and the front ones. I don't know. I set it up the other day, did a test flight, and the only problem, and let's see if I can adjust that, is it has very poor vertical maneuverability. Pitch control, I should say. There we go. And let's just hoping that will, with these back further, it will give us more control over pitch. But it wouldn't even take off until I put these little elevator controls up the front, or at least I should say it would take off, but only off the edge of the runway after going down the whole runway. So I'm going to hit save, and we'll see if we can blow up one of these buildings here. And I'm going to throttle all the way up, turn on SAS, and let's go. These are 4 just normal jet engines. I've had this up to 10,000, or 10 kilometers I should say, but not really much beyond 10 kilometers. And let's see, you're not going to take off until the edge of the runway. But it's okay then. Again, you can see it doesn't really want to pull up. So I may need bigger elevators or something like that. comparatively, I can rotate it or roll it really nice, but it doesn't want to pitch. And then it does slowly sink. SES doesn't really hold it too well. No, now it is. But we're gonna fly out here a ways and then fly back and try to bomb. Haven't had much luck actually hitting things yet, especially not up higher than you know, a kilometer. So I'm flying out here just because when I turn, I'm gonna lose a lot of altitude. So we'll fly out 15 or 20 kilometers and then turn around and come back, and hopefully we'll be about 300 or 400 meters up, and I may be able to hit something. So let's see, that it's like 18, 19. That should be good. Let's come on. I'm gonna just try ruddering around here because pitching, even though I am pitching, doesn't work that well. With this craft, it's I don't know if I need more control surfaces or just bigger control surfaces or what exactly. Alright, just come on, lift up. We've made half a turn. Don't want to hit. We'll get more lift going faster. Don't want to hit the island over here. Probably should have bombed this thing, but alright, we're coming back up again. As I said, yeah, I have flown this as high as like just about 10 kilometers, but it didn't want to stay there. I basically went up that high and then started dropping just because, well, it was the apoapsis of the curve of the flight path. Come on. This seems to be actually, no, as I said, there we go, we're starting to come around. Of course, stopped. We'll probably need to be going 315 to get back at this point. Don't really care if the nose drops all that much at this point, because we are pretty high comparatively. Alright, getting lined up there. What's up? Alright, I'm gonna open the bomb bay doors here. starting to get a little low, so I'm gonna try to level off a bit. We look to be lined up decently. And maybe a bit high, but we're coming down. In fact, let's start pulling up. This thing takes forever to respond. Not sure how tall the VAB is. We want to bomb it and not hit it. Alright. Salvo 1 away. Salvo 2 away. No, 1 was too early. And 2 also appeared to be too early. And it looked like one of them at least hit the inside of the bay, but everything seems okay. I have actually landed this once, although landed is a relative term. It made contact with the ground with the wheels out, and the crew survived, let's say. It stayed as one piece, but lost most of the wings. I think actually all of the wings. Maybe the tail section remained. The engines were also lost. I did not land on the runway. I landed next to the runway and did not stop in time and rolled into the sea, whereas most of the damage occurred. We are pretty low here. Let's get our nose up. We are a little bit more maneuverable with that, with our bombs away, I should say. I am going to attempt to land this. Just coming around. We're actually, doing badly. With lining up. Let's put the gear down. We have 5 wheels on this. And let us slow down a bit. That's the one problem here. Slowing down, though, really reduces our lift. Want to clear this hill. This is looking to be amazing. Nose up, nose up. Holy wow. That was way more than I was hoping for. We didn't hit anything. Our first launch was... both of our drops were too early. But we managed to land on the runway and not break anything. So, yeah, that's what I've been playing around with aircraft-wise. And I guess that's, I'll call that a short episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.